30-minute reviews, Beware of Spoilers, and Exploring Hyperspace Lanes are all available ad-free. But if you want to support the show, you can go to bewareofspoilers.com and click the support button that's available on the Spotify website. Thank you. Good morning and welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I am Adam, and I'm finally going to go see Kong Skull Island, not Kong Skull Island, wow, Godzilla and Kong the New Empire, which I'm on my way to do now. But because yesterday, if you listen to the last episode on here, you'll know what happened yesterday with that debacle. So either way, let's start with the Girls on the Bus. The Girls on the Bus episode 4, which is, we're starting to get some things come to a head. This show is 10 episodes this season. I checked on, well, I mean, I had to for the April schedule, so I had to look like, okay, so how far is this going? And it is going into May. We are getting to a head with the Grace and her daughter story. I think that's Carla Gugino's character's name. So far I know Kimberlyn and Sadie definitely. But regardless, it's getting into that story is kind of interesting, and then using that as kind of like a springboard for what Sadie is dealing with was an interesting way to do it. The fact that the daughter was selling Adderall, it was an interesting twist to put on it, and the argument with the girl, with the daughter and Grace was so great. And it's heartbreaking because, you could see that, Grace is so what? This is, your life is not, my life is not an extension of yours. It's kind of what the gist of it is, where it's look, my legacy is not you. My legacy is everything that's done before, that was done before and since, that's, with my career. And there's a line which is in my obituary, you will not be the first line, you'll be the last line. And you don't understand how great of an opportunity that is for you. It's great. It just all around, that whole thing was so well done. And then for it to still end up in a way where she's not, where we have, what's it called? What's her name? The daughter still ends up dropping out completely because she still has a disconnect with the mother. Is so interesting. Sadie's story this week feels to be not stagnating, but slowing up a little bit. And I feel like we might be getting into, we need to milk this for 10 episodes, so we have to slow things down. So we're at the halfway mark next week. We're at episode 5. And Sadie has been pulled off the bus entirely. She is no longer going to be traveling with the campaigns because it has come to light that she had this hookup with, with the campaign manager. Who else was there in this episode? I think the thing with the influencer and the influencer and Kimberlyn, that continues to be the most interesting dynamic on the show, because this is, the influencer is the socialist, and she's talked about it, and there is, the crisis of confidence that Kimberlyn is going through is really interesting, because she's got all these issues with her job, where it's they're not taking her seriously, they obviously, to an extent, there's an amount of tokenism there to it, like, where she's there to, you know, like, she's there to be the, you know, the black person on the network, and so they have her there, and it's easy to dismiss her then as, you know, what's it called, you know, for that network. It's easy for them to dismiss her, and she's dealing with that. She's dealing with the fact that no one really takes her seriously in that whole thing. And then there's the moment where it's like, you know, she was running these attacks on the former Secretary of State who died while he was on his campaign, and she has this moment where she's like, are we doing the right thing? We were nothing but horrible to this person for months leading up to this. Like, and then he died, and she's having this moment of like, we're not doing the right thing. Like, and there's a moment where the other woman is like, yeah, but we're here to put on television. That's what we're here to do, and we're putting it on television. So like, and then for the other girl to come back, and for the clickiness to immediately come together, was such an interesting dynamic that it's like, I think it worked pretty well for that. And then it created this tension between, I can't remember her name, the influence, and I think it's Natalie Bertram is the actress's name. But to immediately create that friction between the two of them is interesting. And then it's like, you know, there's that moment where she goes, well, why didn't you say something? You know, because like she's at this memorial, and she's like, because she, like, her whole thing is she's like a David Hogg type, someone who survived a school shooting and made a big deal about it, but then everyone stopped listening, or to begin with didn't care. So she is, you know, so she's filling that role in this show, and she's like, yeah, I tried, and anywhere I could, I would tell my story, and people wouldn't listen, or your network would shut me down entirely and just dismiss me as just a kid and should grow up. And it's like, you know, and I think what this ends up with is, by the end of this season, Kimberlin ends up leaving Totally Not Fox News. That's the only thing I could think of kind of ending this story in a way that is, you know, I don't want to say like it'd be 100% satisfying. I mean, it probably would be satisfying, because I mean they're building to it so well that I think that it would be an interesting way to end off this story. What else have we got? Oh, I was wrong about who the informant is. It is not the campaign manager. Whoops. But I do think the campaign manager is still involved. And I think that's going to be the big thing here. And that's going to be the, you know, the thing that's going to keep her on next week. Because this episode ends with the editor of the not the New York Times saying to her, you know, cancel your plane ticket to South Carolina. You're not going to South Carolina. You are going to, what's it called? You're staying here. You're off the bus. And, you know, because she admits to him after that other reporter at the Herald Tribune, whatever the fuck it is, but the other reporter's like, look, you tell him or I do, about, because he caught her previously with the campaign manager, so he, you know, it comes to that, so he's like, look, you tell him or I do, and she opts to tell him, so, and he's like, look, you gotta take him, we're taking you off the case. I still am intrigued by the central mystery of what is going on with the Walker campaign. Like, what is going on with, you know, how is that working for, and what is the thing that it's doing? Like, what is the thing that's going on there that is the issue? So I think I do think the campaign manager is kind of going to be like, look, I don't want to, what's it called? Like, I don't want to be, you know, what's what I'm looking for here? Fuck. Like, like he's in that position because he wants to stop it, whatever's going on, and he's aware. He's the one leaking to the informant is leaking it to her. That's what I think is going on. I still think he's involved. Because he has a pretty sizable role for someone who is not doing that much, in that, like, he's the campaign manager, but we've met a few other candidates. We have not met any other people from the campaign besides that girl that the influencer keeps hooking up with. So it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't see this. I mean, look, it's definitely not Sadie's last day on the bus. I mean, I think that this gets rectified before the midway point of the next episode, and she's back in South Carolina. Or worst case scenario, she's sidelined for South Carolina, and then misses something, and then ends up going back, getting reassigned to it. But yeah, I think we'll wrap up there for today. Later today, we'll be doing Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire, for real this time, because I'm headed to see that now. Then this weekend we'll be done with episodes until later this week, or later next week. We have some new stuff. We are going to catch up with the backlog files. I've been a little busy, that's why we didn't have episodes last week, but we will have everything up next week, don't worry. We are going to be back with that. Josie is going to be away for a little bit again, so we are going to have a stopgap episode where I talk about Battlefront and Battlefront 2, the HD collection of exploring hyperspace lanes. But until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.